Hi guys, it's me, Zariah Aura, and I'm up for a fan-voted award at the XMA Creator Awards. I am up for Trans Premium Social Media Star of the Year. You can also find me at ZariahAura.xx.com, and today I am on John the Ninja's podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? It's John the Ninja live in the dojo, aka the DJing. I should have said damas and caballeros because the girl I got here, she's Mexicana, and you know we respect our family, Puerto Rican here. But here's the point: the individual I have with me is at the top of her industry. It doesn't matter if it's sales, it doesn't matter if it's the drag show, it doesn't matter if it's the adult entertainment industry. And more impressive, she knows her big words. She even knows what compersion meant, which threw me off because I didn't know what it meant at the time, and then I remembered I did. And if you have a significant other, you better figure out what it means ASAP. I must say I'm thoroughly impressed by this individual because she's only had 3 years in the industry of adult entertainment, and she's already racked up over 71 nominations. And that's not to mention all the awards she's won and is going to win. She was born in Texas, and her roots are Denver, which is great because they produce amazing people. And you can tell that she is a genuine person because she's always laughing and she has a big heart caring for everyone around her, including her pug, who I believe his name is Lucy, this glamorous Latina content creator, fashionista. She is Zariah Aura. Now, Miss Zariah started drag competitions in 2018 at Club Q, and everybody thought she's been doing it for years, but they found out that it was her first night for amateur night, and then slowly crept her way, making a following while she was doing her sales job at T-Mobile. She was #1 in Colorado and top 10 in the country. But it was when she went to an adult film shoot with her now ex-boyfriend where she fully gave it a shot. She jumped headfirst out of the airplane and landed on top of the mountain. In 2022, she started doing mainstream and has worked with some of the biggest names in the industry, including companies like Grooby, AdultTime, which actually their director, Bree Mills, asked for her personally when they were doing their podcast. And one of her scenes also is one of the most commercially successful for that brand. But that's not to exclude the others like Kink and GenderX, TransSensual, and a bunch more. She was the actual first girls ambassador for Grooby in 2023, company that has been a trailblazer and been around for years. No small feat. She's won awards such as Best Trans Masculine Scene, Best New Face, Best Girl, and she's currently up for Trans Premium Social Star of the Year at XBiz XMA. You can vote until May 20th. And the last two, which everybody knows, the Hub Awards, which is going to be Trans Female Performer of the Year and Favorite Trans Model, fan voted. So, ladies and gentlemen, here to talk about her amazing career, the award she's going to win, and her great life, I bring to you Zariah Aura. Mademoiselle, how are you?
Hi, love. I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for that awesome introduction.
No problem. It's been a busy day. I got to ask you a question because I know you didn't
Yeah.
live there all the time. You've lived there a little bit, but you are from Texas as well, born there. I have to ask, are you a King of the Hill fan?
Oh my gosh, I love King of the Hill. That's so funny to even ask that you'd ask that.
What is it about King of the Hill in Texas? Because I grew up watching it. You also understand like a conservative household. You know, some things are okay, some things aren't. It was like the funniest like real life stupidity situations that I deal with as an adult now. So what about King of the Hill makes it so loved in Texas?
To be honest, I mean, I'm not quite sure. I mean, my family loves it. I have most of my family that's in Texas. I was sneaking around. I was sneaking around to watch it because obviously my parents thought it was inappropriate. But no, I mean, I definitely love King of the Hill. It was a really really funny show. I mean, with being able to just like see that stupidity as a child, like I don't know, I absolutely loved it. So I wish I had more to give for it, but no, King of the Hill was definitely something that I loved growing up.
It's clever stupidity.
Propane and propane accessories.
I also know that you're a big Star Wars fan. Said you were a nerd. You know your stuff. I have to ask because I'm a big Star Trek fan and Star Wars. What was your favorite movie? Or did you like the new trilogy for Star Wars? Because I know you and your significant other, you guys were going through like the TV shows in order. That's a long track. God bless you.
Well, to be honest, I think of the new ones. Was it Rogue? You're talking about like the Rogue ones and all those ones, right?
Yeah.
I think Rogue One I definitely enjoyed, but I haven't gotten caught up on like every of the new stuff right now, because we've been stuck on all the shows. So right now we're like stuck, I believe, on like Andor right now. So I haven't been able to watch any of the new stuff because I'm trying to get him caught up to it, Nikki. And I think yeah, you had just mentioned that we were watching it in chronological order. So right now we're still stuck on the shows. So I definitely haven't gotten a chance to look into the newest ones as much as I'd like to. I'm actually still stuck behind watching any of the new shows like when Mandalorian. I haven't gotten onto the second season yet, like I fucking want to, because my man. So I'm a little stuck on the shows right now.
Good time. The second season got mixed reviews.
Yeah.
I'm very iffy on it. I'm forgiving with my TV shows, so I'm like, cool. Cowboy Bebop's adaptation. I was like, oh, we'll let it go. So this one, it depends how deep you guys are into it. But back to the Star Trek I mentioned, because we know that your name Zariah is a mix between the Z from the OnlyFans days and then also Mariah because you like Mariah. I was
Mhm.
curious about Aurora because it could go two ways. If it's the Star Trek version, I'm thinking of Aurora from Star Trek was like an inclusion of everybody. That's what it meant. But then again, aura being like, this wonderful energy that encompasses everything. So I wanted to know how the last name came in.
Exactly that. Like I just have this like energy that I've like noticed my whole entire life. Like I just can bring people in. It's just this like kinetic field, that just surrounds me. And so I liked Aura. I actually wasn't supposed to be my last name. I had just used it as a username. So it was Zariah. And I was like, well, I don't have a last name right now. Let's just do Aura. So like Zariah's Aura. And I don't know, it just stuck. People started calling me Zariah Aura, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's the last name. And so people do already when they meet me, they're like, oh, I just love your aura, I love your energy, and all of that. And so I don't know, I just like I go into the world with all of my energy in front of me, and I try to bring people into it. And so aura just stuck, and it makes sense. It makes sense.
You've had a lot of success and you've been to some of the best places in the world, but the top two back in the day that were biggest were Las Vegas and Hollywood. I believe you're in LA now. I
Yes.
want to know, with your energy, is there a particular location that you feel that it's most harnessed, that you're able to expend it the most? When I'm in Philadelphia, there's this, I don't want to say negative energy, but there's this feeling of like fighting to survive that I can feel that I really love. And then when I'm in New York City, there's this feeling of danger. Like, oh, okay, let's see what we can get into. Is there a particular place where you feel like your energy is just one, it's not draining, you're able to expand it and turn it up to 1,000?
I mean, anytime that I go to festivals or raves, underground scenes, that's where I feel like I thrive the most. I could just walk through a crowd and just bring in everybody with me and share in their energy because I can see everybody's energy around me, and I think that's where I blow up and it brings people in. So it's like it's very much like a black hole. I blow up and then just bring them back in. So.
Before we get to energy, I have to ask you what the best rave you've been to, because you're very musical. You can sing, you do karaoke. I also have to ask if you're going to do a music career after this, because everything you do touches the gold. But I wanted to know, for you, being able to see energy and feel it, is what rave was the best for you?
I really enjoy EDC. That's where I have the most fun. I'm actually going in a few weeks. Actually, wait, like not even 2 weeks. It's in like 10 days, I think, or I don't know. It's literally just less than 2 weeks. So I've been going to EDC for years. That's where I have most of my energy build up, I guess, and I express it because I just like I get myself ready. I get to share with people candies, little trinkets, and just dance with people. I just really, really love it. And so EDC is one of my favorites. I go every year. I'm gonna try camping this year, so I'm super excited.
Give you a lot of credit. If there's no bed or something to be over my head that's metal, I don't know if I could do it.
I think I'm gonna do an RV.
Going to the awards, so at the T Awards, you actually won an award, but you were so busy prepping for the next award to present it that you almost missed it. I wanted to know what was the moment it kind of clicked, like, oh no, I gotta get on stage. Because it when you're doing these things professionally, when it comes to media and award shows, there's so much happening that your mind kind of just it gets zeroed in on one thing.
So actually, that one was so funny. So I was getting prepared to go on stage with Radius Stark. He is a director and actually one of the first directors that I worked with in porn, and was I just absolutely love Radius. I always want to give him a shout out because I would not have been able to like learn the things that I did. And so getting to go on stage with him to present, we were presenting Producer's Choice Award. And while we were presenting, or sorry, we were presenting the what was it? No, yeah, we were presenting Producer's Choice. Sorry, and they announced the Girl Girl Award, which I was nominated for, and I just heard all of the nominations or the nominees and stuff, and kind of like didn't even, I don't know, I was like trying to look when I heard them say the name, but I couldn't hear that it was even my name. And I just stood there because it's hard to hear backstage. It's hard to hear. And it was so funny because my friend, Natasha, she's just photography. She took a picture of me like as the winning was happening. So I thought that was funny, but I was like, and then I just keep looking at the stage and my husband is screaming to look, it's you. And so when Ember gets on stage, who was my scene partner, she goes, where's Zariah? And he goes, she's behind you. And she looks at me and I'm like, what? I don't know. It was just so funny. I felt so dumb. I literally was so confused. I was like, what? What's going on? Why are you on stage? Wait, oh my God, wait, we're nominated together. So it was, yeah, it was a lot of confusion. And then I went on stage to present right after that. But it was so much fun. It was for Girl Girl with Ember Fiera. And I think we did a tie with Jade Venus and Jane Calloway for a TransAngels scene. So
For that awards show, all of them really highlight the hard work that goes into the industry. And I wanted to know, you're so good at networking, and you've always thrown the shout outs to people that took care of you, and you always go back. But networking is a skill to be able to talk to people, make them remember you from that first impression, and then still have connection with you even after you reach out. Because a lot of the time, a lot of people is like, hey man, remember me? Yeah. And then conversation's dead. Nobody
yeah,
really does anything. So how did you culminate your ability to network?
drag. So I started doing drag in 2018, like you said, at Club Q. And I yeah, I don't know. I went in there with my experience as a customer service person, you know. I've been working since I was 15. So I just like went in there with my little my little customer service confidence because you got to have confidence to talk to people. And so I had been working in sales and just knowing how to talk to people, and drag honed in on it. I was able to hone in on it because I was meeting people and in person at these clubs and creating connections with them and just being able to remember something about them, which is something I have a really good memory with. I just have a good memory at remembering things about people and things that are important to people, like when they bring it up and stuff. So I'm just like listening to each person, getting really personal and really because like that's just who I am. I just like to get to know people, and yeah, it just was so natural to me. I got really good at it because I was working at the club 5 nights out of the week. I hit the stage and I right away they were like booking me all the time. So yeah, it just became second nature, and I was able to go and work in Denver and really hone in on that as well with like the community there because it was so much bigger. And yeah, it was me bringing people together too that didn't know each other, and it was crazy because I'm like, you guys have been working in the same industry for years. How do you not know each other? And so being able to foster community within the community has always been something that I've appreciated about myself. And so it helped me do that with porn because, I mean, we're all just entertainers, you know, and that's the cool thing about going from drag into this. It's like, it's different communities, different things, but like we're all at the end of the day just entertainers and doing our thing. And yeah, I just have so much fun with networking.
When did you know you were a performer and an entertainer? Because RuPaul was a big influence for you as far as the drag scene. And I was thinking, like, when you first did it just as an amateur, like a lot of the things I had to do for the first time, I pulled a lot of old memories, be like, hey, let me do this. So was RuPaul kind of a guide for you the first time you did it? You were just pulling, or was you just winging it? When did you know you were an entertainer to show off for the masses? And how did the first night go when you did it? Because it was exceptional. That's how everybody responded.
Yeah, it was amazing. I had such a fun time. So it's actually really funny that you bring up RuPaul because RuPaul was when I was like 10, I think, 10 or 11, I had just gotten my first phone and I went to download music and I see RuPaul in this little album thing and I like listen to the song. I forget exactly which song it was, but I just start listening to RuPaul all the time. And I'm like 10, 11, telling my friends, oh, when I'm older, I'm going to be a drag queen. And so I just kept saying that. I kept saying that. Finally, I'm 21, and I finally step on that stage and go and do drag. And I had been practicing at home since I was like, I don't know, I was like 15, 16, starting to do makeup. And then I tried drag for the first time at 18, um, in my friend's house in Montana when I was living there. And I was just this little 18-year-old trying drag for the first time. Um, and then when I was 21, I finally stepped on that stage. So I had been just practicing at home from 18 to 21. So when I hit the stage, it was like everyone thought I had been doing it for a while. So it just like, yeah, I don't know. I had been practicing enough at home and walking in heels for years that I just looked like I was ready. I guess I was ready. I didn't look like I was ready because once I did it, like it just blew up from there. Everyone knew who Regina was, so
And of course, Regina DeMarco, and
yes.
another house as well, the Stacks. I wanted to know, I'm not familiar with the drag scene as far as the actual community. I know some people in Tampa have some connections, but I'm not really in it to know the significance of the house names and then those names in the actual industry of drag shows. Could you explain the significance?
Yeah, so I mean, some of these families have been around for, I mean, 10, 15 years, some more. Um, like there's like legendary houses like the Montaldos, and these are going to be like the like drag royalty. These are people who have been doing this for so long. So the names have always just, they've always been there to differentiate all of the houses and the queens and the mothers, because there's mothers of the houses, and they're the ones that are teaching the new queens, and fostering community with them, so with those names, like I said, there's like the big names in each community. There's going to be those houses. For Denver, there's the big names like the Misdemeanors and the Staxes and the All Nights. So this is just different houses pockets together doing drag. A lot of the queens look very similar to each other. A lot are houses that are all the queens are so different from each other, and that's what makes the house, like the House of 666, and I don't know, just all these awesome houses from Denver, and the DeMarcos from the Springs in Denver and stuff. So I had started with the DeMarcos. They were a pageant house. And so they were doing a lot of pageant drag. I was able to still get in the house without having to do pageant just because they liked me so much. And then from there, I became a DeMarco. Um, and then I became a Stax, yeah, in Denver years later, and they are one of the biggest houses in Denver. They have like a bunch of queens. I actually got to see all of them when I went to Denver recently.
And I know it was a big important part of your life because there was a lot of suppression. You were still trying to figure out who you were, and then you kind of started finding your place in the drag world. But I have to go back to the selling of phones first because selling phones, doing sales door to door, trying to do the turf war was one of the craziest experiences I've ever had. I was very confused why it was so aggressive between Verizon and AT&T, and you were in the store level and you did excellent. I wanted to know what initially brought you to sales at Verizon and then going to T-Mobile and dealing with it. And then you had a formula. You had a formula that was kind of like the Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not too sure if it's the same exact style, but I wanted to know how you cultivated it and what the main components were. that you were teaching your people? Because to be a leader, that's a huge endeavor. A lot of people think they can do it, but when they actually understand different personalities, different time schedules, this and that, it's a lot. And you were very, very successful at being a business manager.
Yeah, so I was, let's see, I think I was 19, 18, yeah, 18 going on 19, I believe, when I started working for Verizon. I might have been already 19, but who knows? The time's been going by so fucking crazy quick. I don't even know where we are now. But so yeah, I started with Verizon. I was doing business services for them over the phone. And so I first started over the phone, which was, I feel like, a little more difficult for sure. Just because it's harder to work with somebody when you can only empathize with your voice, being able to actually, like, in person, it's much easier to de-escalate situations and stuff. People see you as a human, right? So it was first over the phone, so it was a little bit difficult because sometimes the business matters you had to obviously get past people who are upset or trying to sell them on something. But I learned most of my skills from Verizon. They did, like, I think it was like 3 months of just full on learning how to work with business accounts, how to talk to people, things like that. And so I did 3 months of that. I was getting paid and technically kind of like almost working. It was just a lot of like fake mock calls and stuff like that. So Verizon definitely wanted their employees to know what they were doing. So I started with them. It was a little too much. It was just hard because people were just so mean. People are just mean over the phone, and when you're handling big accounts, they expect so much of you and stuff like that. And so I really didn't enjoy it. So I have had a ex-boyfriend who worked, a different ex-boyfriend, growing up, that worked in phone service, and so I had seen my friends and partners and whatever working at like all these in phone stores, like stores in person, and so I wanted to do that. So I went and I worked with Cricket. I worked with Metro by T-Mobile, and just ended up, yeah, working with some of the bigger people in T-Mobile. By the time I was finishing or starting drag, actually, I had just or sorry, not finishing drag and going into porn. Um, and yeah, it was so much fun. I enjoyed it. That it was a crazy time in my life, going um from drag to a phone store all the time, because like I said, I was working. Once I started doing drag, I was doing that 5 nights a week, and I was working a full-time job also. So yeah, remind me where I was going with that.
You were actually answering the question in succession, so you're good. You're good, madam.
Okay, great.
No
So I was
problem.
like, I'm trying to get to that, but then I keep going back to my drag because it was just all happening at the same time. I literally had to learn how to do um, a regular job and a nightlife job at the same time and be successful in both of them before doing this. And so that was a lot. It was all intertwined.
But it's a blessing in disguise. Even getting fired after the event at your store, and even the fact that your boss was like, "Listen, I do not want to fire you. I don't care, but it's going to be a big blowback. I have no choice. My hands are tied." And then meeting your significant other at a drag show, which I would say I love romance stories. I'm a sucker for that. Disney got me. That moment, that 3 minute kiss. Everybody knows about it, but man, I'm like, hey God, I'm still waiting on mine. Just something romantic, please. So it's pretty cool. You made a statement saying that you love to make money. And it just occurred in my head where, because you have so many skills, have you thought about opening up your own branch for maybe cellular? Because you still do love that world. And that's very lucrative right now. Or is there another idea to make money aside from the adult entertainment that, something in the pocket that you still love, but it's nice to have an extra business or some homes, etc.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I for sure definitely wanted to open up a store at some point. I still have some friends, or at least go in on a store with a friend that has already a store, because I have some friends in Colorado who ended up doing that, which was getting a store under their name or opening up a franchise, things like that. And so I would definitely go in and either do something like that, just to have like a passive income. But I always actually talk to my husband about we want to get either a car wash, or I wanted to do a laundromat, just because, like, I don't know, it's just some cheap things that you can go and get, and they'll just give you passive income. I don't know. I just think about all these little ways to make money. So, like vending machines and things like that. So, I'm definitely always trying to find a little, pocket of money somewhere.
Yeah, I'm telling you, those dry cleaners, they make money. They
Uh
do
huh.
fantastic. But we have to hop to the good stuff, to the time in pornography. It was such a quick transition. And you kind of know when, whether or not, whatever you believe, there's energy to get you going where you need to go. And it just happened so quickly and it happened so organically. You stated that at first you thought about it at 18, and then you were confronted with an opportunity at first, and you're like, let me think about it. And then you finally dove head into it. What was the moment you said, you know what? I think I'm spiritually at a place now where I know myself and I know what I want and I want to pursue this. Because for a long time, that was another thing, especially during COVID, you had to soul search and figure out
Hmm.
what you wanted, where you were going, and then you finally came to terms with what you wanted to do. What was that moment for porn for you? Or corn, now that we have to say it that way.
So the moment for me when I think I had been transitioning for, oh my goodness, almost a year. Yeah, under a year. Um and I just was discovering so much about myself. And I had been doing online like sex work, OnlyFans, for 2 years. And I don't know, I just started to feel so comfortable and confident in myself. I'd never had that much confidence as like myself. My confidence was always hidden behind, obviously, the drag and the persona there. But something just shifted in me when I started to discover parts of myself that were hidden, through now transitioning. Um, and so, yeah, I hadn't even hit a year, but I was already starting to discover some amazing parts of myself that I didn't know were there. I didn't know how powerful I was, or at least started to figure out how much power I had. Um, and yeah, I just dove in. I decided that I would try it out. They posted me on Twitter and people liked it. And I liked the feeling. I definitely am a little attention whore, and I definitely love to have people look at me. And I discovered that I liked it in that way even more, because I was just so free. It was my body. It was me that they were seeing, because I was hiding my face for most of my sex work. I didn't show my face as a boy, for those 2 years. And so when I started to show my face as a girl, as myself, more, it, like, I don't know, it felt so good. And I took the jump and did the studio stuff. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know, being in front of so many people, like in crowds all the time, really helped being in front of a camera and in front of a set of people. It wasn't scary.
And that goes back to you recently, you mentioned that you've been taking care of yourself. mental health has been a big thing for you. You don't drink anymore. At least I hope that's what I read correctly. I might have messed that one up.
So I still drink. I don't drink like I did before. My vice was not the drinking as much. It was other substances, and so luckily, yes, I've been clean and sober from the vices that I had for almost 9 months now. So.
But I really wanted to stress, and I do apologize attempting not to do a trigger warning, but the mental health aspect of what you've been through prior to and what you've survived quite literally, it seemed that that was the shift because you've always been so, as far as I can tell on your social media, you've always been so self-positive. You've always been so, I'm my own muse. If I ain't gonna back me up, no one going to, but luckily everyone else does. I wanted to know after that situation, was there a shift? Because sometimes it was more of like the Vietnam situation where a lot of kids were getting drafted, not coming home, and they were kind of like, well, screw this, we're gonna live for today. You only get one life, and if this is my future, I'm going bro for bro. Or was it a gradual transition to filling it? And was there anybody else there to show you that love of acceptance of, hey, no matter what, I got your back. You need to love you. Was there anybody saying that? No one's better than you.
Well, my husband, yeah. Without him, I would not have been like here, literally right now, or been able to do my work. I had the confidence that came from transitioning, but the rest of it really did come from my husband just being there and having me understand how beautiful I am and like see a part of myself that I didn't even know was there. And the transition was the start. And then like he really just pushed it over the edge and helped me so much.
Yeah, I need to take a play from him. I said that love
He's
you.
great. No, he's amazing. He's very inspiring to because he's a trans man and he's inspiring to his community, our community, and it's just he's such a beautiful person and has really helped me, and everyone in this industry knows who he is and he's great.
And you've also mentioned that you love how he treats people,
Oh
that
yeah.
care and going after and like, hey, are you okay? And you can see, not only can we see y'all googly eyes every time y'all together, that's one coming in. Grooby was there for a long time, and they just picked you up and said, no, we're gonna make you our ambassador. You had all the tools at your disposal from the drag shows, from working in sales. What was that like for you? I wanted to know how you felt being the face of a company that had so much reputation behind it, and then being able to utilize what you learned. It was like the perfect timing.
It was so amazing. I remember I had sent out my application to them, and when I did, they right away, I think it was only like a few hours later, they were like, "Oh, yeah, of course, we want to shoot with you." And yeah, like right away, Steven really liked me. He's Steven Grooby. He owns the company. He's amazing. And he just like met me at the events and really liked my energy, liked my work. I shot, I think, like 3 or 4 scenes for them right away. And so they were already super into it. And yeah, I don't know. Like I was at the T Awards for my first ever tease. It was 2022. I was a guest. I had just shot for my scenes. They weren't even out yet, but I had messaged Steven and I was like, "Hi, like can I join?" And he was like, have you shot with us before? And I was like, "Yeah, I just shot with y'all. Like it hasn't came out yet, but like I was hoping that I could go. I'm here with my friend Paradise." And so Paradise, love my girl Paradise. Shout out to Paradise. I used to come and stay with her all the time when I'd come to LA at the beginning. And so she was like, "You could be my plus one." And so yeah, so we went together. I met everybody in the industry, and Steven just liked me. Yeah, he really appreciated my work because he went and looked. He obviously checked it out before the tease, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, you're so amazing." Introduced me to a lot of people, and I just was working with them all the time. I was like blown away because I had thought about it when I first was like, "Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go into the industry." I was like, but I really hope Grooby wants to work with me and like all that. Um, and yeah, I don't know. It felt like a dream because then they were they kind of let me know ahead of time because we had to prepare, you know, for the ambassadorship. And so they were like, oh, like, you know, we're going to do this if you'd like to do it. And being the first was obviously so I really appreciated it so much. Um, and yeah, I don't know. Look around and I see my calendar and my face on all these things, and it felt insane to be this little kid from Colorado and, you know, Texas and Colorado, and get to be on the face of a company's calendar and be known for being the first to represent them was just insane because they've been around for as long as I've been around. And to literally now be, I think they were 25 years in or 24 years, yeah, 24, 25. And that's when I became the ambassador. So I don't know. It's really, really amazing moment in my career.
And it's pretty great. I think of back to what I was stumbling over to say, Adult Time, the scene where you guys had one of the most recognizable commercials on the hub, and then Brie actually wanting to go out and, hey, let's get her on the podcast. Like she went for it. She was like, forget your fans. I'm gonna do what I want today. You know, it's pretty remarkable. I wanted to know, and this is you've stated this. I say this respectfully. You've stated you are a heathen, and I want
What?
heathen.
Oh, yes, yes.
I understand what it's like to have an opportunity that's so grand and then to be able to revisit it and be like, hey, this time I'm better than last time. This is going to be a real trick. And you got to do that with Kink. I wanted to know exploring yourself with the adult entertainment industry. Now you're doing the physical exploration, finding out if you like the top, if you like the bottom. Your love for oral and spit is something that you've proclaimed as well. I wanted to know if there was something that you learned that kind of threw you off. Like, I did not foresee myself liking or disliking this. And now you know, maybe it's a new limit, maybe it's a limit you broke and you're like, let's go for it because you're very sexually energetic. And it's hard to compete with that. Not everybody has that natural sexual energy that you do. So I was curious where you were on the spectrum of like what you found out about yourself physically.
I found out that I really like to get beat up. That's the one that I really did not expect to fully dive into the way that I have and be so good at it, quote unquote, because I can take it. I can take it. Like the punches that I never thought I could take on my thighs, on my body. I like a lot of more CBT. It's cock
Whatever.
and ball torture. And so I really like to get like my balls beat up, my dick bit, and things like that. My titties smacked. So I just really like the really hard stuff on my body. Um, and I really did not expect that. I did not expect that, and I've learned that in a way how to show it for these big studios without it being having to be kink, you know, and not saying anything like that. I mean, just saying like it doesn't have to just stay on kink. I can go and do it for adult time or groupie and throw in some little cock and ball torture in my scenes, and they're not gonna say anything. They're gonna fucking post it. So
And I found this interesting. You did a VR scene and you've also had pleasured yourself to that scene. And I found it just a little bit like maybe psychologically, because I do meditation and
Mhm.
every now and again you'll get somebody that wants you to, hey, imagine yourself, imagine a time where you were little and loved. Okay, imagine this. And then you see yourself and you're supposed to embrace yourself mentally, give yourself a hug, encourage yourself like, hey, you'll be all right, or you're doing great, do not worry about it. And then with this scene you said you pleased yourself to it. I found that fascinating. I was like, that's a whole nother level of self-acceptance and love. No, because the thought of it is fascinating to me because I don't know which way, whatever way, like if I could do it, because I never thought about it. I never really engaged in the thinking. I wanted to know if you had a moment where you did it and you felt more self-love for yourself in that aspect. If they were to tell you like love yourself, hug yourself, was it just physical, or did you feel something spiritual of like, yes, this is me?
No, I for sure feel a very spiritual connection with myself, seeing myself. Um, I feel like I sometimes can see myself as two different entities, you know? Um, so, like, seeing myself, I see myself as a completely another person in a way, but I know that's me. If that makes sense. I don't know. Like, it's just like I can see myself and I'm like, wow, that girl, fucking fuck yeah, but it's me. And I just have to, that's the best way I can respect myself and love myself is by seeing myself as somebody else. Because of course we would want to be treated the way that we treat others. So I see when I see myself, especially like in porn and things like that, um, it turns me on to just being able to see myself doing the act. But it's my moment where I'm like, fuck yeah to myself. I don't know. I love watching my porn with my friends, and we have little masturbation hangouts and watch my porn, and we're all coming. So I don't know. It's a lot of fun. I definitely, like I said, I see myself in just, I don't know. It's a goddess. It's a goddess, and I just love her, and I love me, and yeah.
Tell me about this Hispanic response. Mexican and as a Puerto Rican, you know, I know we island away, but we have a community that's so supportive, that's really cutthroat for our people. And I remember you had it on Instagram, you had a picture of you as dressed as Frida Kahlo. And
Mhm.
Kahlo, I'm sorry. Or maybe I messed it up. I'm not the best with names either. My
No
but
worries.
it's a representation of like, look, we're here in the industry, we're here to stay. I wanted to know what that representation has meant to you.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I love my Mexican fans. It's so cool to be able to represent for the girls too, because there's some Latinas in the industry that just, there's not a bunch of us that are like closely seeing each other all the time and stuff like that. But we represent for each other, and it just feels so nice to have other girls out there. So being able to come in as a Mexicana, as a Latina, has been really cool.
I don't know.
What were we gonna say?
Sorry, ladies first.
So like I think of my girl Avery Lust, Latina, bomb ass girl coming into who's about to be representing for the girls, the new generation coming up. And it's nice to be a part of that with them because I'm my 3 years now. And so being up here with Eva Maxim as well, it's just so cool. Um, I think that it's important to come out here showing our roots, and letting people know, especially with what's happening right now, with, you know, Hispanic people, Latin people, all of that in our country right now, brown people in general. Brown and black people are being treated in this way. So we have to come out here and represent, for people of color. So
Now,
it's very important.
you've had so much help in the industry, you know, with all these big names like Domino Presley and a couple of others. Who is somebody you've been able to help or to try and boost their career?
I feel like I just naturally do that as just a person. I don't think I can really pinpoint anybody because I feel like as much as the girls have given to me, I give to the girls. So I don't think I could say there's just one person or a person that I could say that because I feel like we're all helping each other. We're all helping each other get to that place in different ways, and not just one person is going to be that that push fully, and can take that credit. So I'll just say I definitely feel like I've given to all of my girls around me and they've given to me, and it's just a back and forth. It's a give and take, and it's a beautiful experience to have in this industry because, especially in the trans side of the industry, which is much smaller than the already, smaller industry that it is the adult industry, the community comes in for each other. You know, we're all there to help each other. So we're all just boosting each other up at the same time, I feel.
Like Isaiah Maxwell said at the awards when he won male performer, he's like, ain't nobody take care of us like us. Nobody understands it like us. Yeah, speaking of, you have expressed interest in directing and editing, and I was wondering when that was going to come up because, especially with the OnlyFans and doing your own social media as well, you understand the fun and the struggle and the annoyance it is to edit video to make sure it's just right to perfect it the way your vision is. I was wondering if you already dabbled in that, like if you've gone behind the scenes and just sat down and watched, if you actually had your hand on actually, producing and doing it in the near future.
Yeah, I love that you asked this question. So, bringing up my husband again, Nikki. He's amazing, Nikki Zio. He is an amazing production assistant and has been working with AdultTime and other big productions. And so I've got my eyes in there at all times because he's learning so much and he's teaching me so much too. I've also been able to come on to sets for AdultTime as like social media before as the social media correspondent. And so I've had the amazing opportunities from Brie Mills and from these big productions to be allowed to come onto sets and to see the behind the scenes. So yes, I'm very excited to say that Nikki and I have been learning so much, and our next step is going to be to open our own production, company, and we have all of the friends and all of the people who are going to help us make that happen. And yeah, being on set is one of my favorite things. So it's actually really hard to get me off set sometimes. Recently, I was on a set where I'm like, I'm just gonna chill, here until however long. And then I realized I'm like, girl, no, like, get out of here. They're working. I just love being on set. And so yeah, I'm excited to get behind the camera more because Nikki and I are a two-person team that is becoming bigger. So I've got now Erica, as part of my team, and I'm starting to figure out who else is going to be part of the team as we go forward because right now it's working great with us too, but we have to have, it takes a village. And so, yeah, Nikki and I are having a lot of fun on sets with our friends when we're doing collaborations. We are making TikToks. We are doing all of the reels and all of the things to do social media together and learning. And it's an amazing collaboration between me and my husband that I'm excited to make into a big team.
And you've expressed the enjoyment you had from the Folsom incident where you guys were being cheered on and everybody was like, go ahead. And then you said something that really sparked my imagination for this next question, and I ask it respectfully. So while you were doing the deed and everybody was watching and people coming up, that a trans woman came up and said, yeah, girl, you do it, you get it. And that was like the ultimate vindication, like, yes, I'm gonna keep going. And it made me think of the text you received, an apology. Not too many details can be relayed, but that apology text. And I wanted to know, something like that people wait their entire lives for.
Mhm.
Also got that vindication there. Was there an award that you've received from the award show that kind of was a combination of both that made you feel that way of like, yes, I'm being validated by the people. Yes, I finally got to the top of like I was right all along, and now I'm seeing the fruits of that labor. Was there an award at one of the shows that kind of was a combination of both?
Yeah, when I got Trans Performer of the Year for the Tees, I was Best Hardcore Performer, and that really was something I needed then in that moment because I was having so much imposter syndrome, and I didn't really believe that I, deserved it, but I knew that I did deserve it. It was like this like battle between myself of like I don't deserve this, but I know I've worked so hard for it. And it didn't make sense at all. Um, and it was affecting me, and I luckily was able to um get help from, friends checking in on me and stuff. And then when I got the award, it really showed me like, wow, I really am seen, even though I might not feel like it sometimes, right? I make myself believe that I'm not. Because like we said, mental health is crazy, and it's very important, and it can be all over the place. And so I you can be told something a million times and you won't believe it. You can be told one thing one time and always believe it. And yeah, I don't know, that award showed me that I deserved to be here, that I was seen, um, and that it was like my work, all my hard work, in a physical form. I could see it.
Grasp it. It's weird, isn't it? How, and I think I told you I misuse that word all the time, so please bear with me. It's weird how we can be so encouraging of others. We
Hmm.
down like, listen, you deserve to be here. You got this. And then when it comes to us, all of a sudden it's like, I know it, but I can't feel it. I can't
Hmm.
get it. It's such a weird dynamic. And even hearing you saying it as positive and as you're very vocal about you're gonna get it, even to hear you say you had imposter syndrome takes me back. I'm like, I don't believe it. Nah, nah, nah.
It's crazy. I've had so many moments where I've created this mask and this confidence that is my shield, that if the moments that I am feeling insecure, or the moments that I am having these like thoughts and stuff, you'll never see it. I don't even see it. It just takes over. It doesn't let me feel it sometimes. And so it is a protection, and I do love it, but that's why I have to have the other and talk about it too, because I have to remind myself.
I was curious, what would be an outlet for your mental health too? Like in the back, you could see my guitar. For some reason, that's how I get my spiritual fix. That, like, it could be like the most incriminating, terrible song in the world. God hates us all, and all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, I feel one with the Lord right now. This is fantastic. Something about music calms my soul and kind of brings me back to reality when I'm having those freak out moments like, oh my goodness, like I can't do this or everything's crumbling. I know you're an avid Lego builder, and my friend's got a whole city. You guys got to chop it up and see what this
I
Lego.
know. Oh my god, I need to get on it. I need to get on it.
But what is another way you relax to try and give yourself that mental clarity to take a breath? I know some people kind of have like one of my friends, he does a little thing with his necklace, like he literally pauses, presses and pauses. What's a way you kind of take a moment to breathe?
Makeup always was one of the things that I used to do. That has become this last year, I think, one of the things that I really have been enjoying and I've been getting back into. Um, so doing my makeup is a relaxing thing. It's a grounding thing now. Before, it was such a outlet that I did all of it on my face. My outlet was my makeup and my face and stuff like that, which is why I did drag. But I stopped doing my makeup for a while there, um, and now I don't know. I got back into doing it, and it's just been so much fun. One of the things that I like to do a lot is add like dots onto my face. And so if anyone ever sees makeup where I have little dots under my eyes, that means that I did my makeup. Other than that, it's getting done by other people. But yeah, doing makeup has been the grounder for me lately this year. And it's been making me feel confident, because before I felt very like, once at one point makeup became too much for me, and I had to relearn how I felt with it. And so yeah.
And also, you got the award shows coming up. That's gonna be a fun time. I'm telling you, call CoverGirl, see what they can do. They're always doing ambassadors too. With these award shows coming up, the Pornhub Awards, you got the XBiz, you know, what are the goals now, other than the producing and the filming? Is it just to keep racking it up for the love of it? Because I understand that too. Like just to perform, it can be the best, a life of doing your art is something that people aspire to and never get an opportunity to do once. What are the goals in the industry now for you?
For me, I really want to win something for my acting. So I do want to keep doing more scripts and stuff that are going to land me in these nominations for like thespian and stuff like that. I'm definitely wanting one of my performer of the years for AVN or XFiz, or XMAs and stuff. Um, I want to get at least one from all of them. And yeah, I mean, I just want to keep doing it just because I just really do love doing it. I love to be able to collaborate with a bunch of like minded, perverted people. So I definitely want to just keep going, learning more, getting even better. Because I mean, I will never be the best. I know that for everything. You just know no one is ever the best. You just keep going. It's always elevation. I don't ever want to just feel like I'm there. Um, so I definitely want to get some more awards. I want to have more fun with more people. Um, and yeah, I want to create things that I want to do, that I want to feel. I was taking obviously scenes and, being a go getter for what people want to see from me, but I want to show people what I want, what I like. And so I have a lot of ideas. I have lists and lists of ideas all over the place of, shoots that we're going to do. And I'm just excited for my creations to be actually seen by people and it come from me fully.
And to be able to express it and show it, that means a
Yeah.
lot. Especially when people view it and love it back. Oh, I mean, you got over 2K unread text messages on your phone. That that by itself would have been vindication to me. Like, oh, you know what? I'm validated. People love me. It's great that you are striving, and I always tell people, or at least I try and tell myself this for certain, but you might be better, but I'll go farther. Your work ethic has shown that you deserve it. You deserve that admiration, that award, all of it. When it comes to, and I've said this before, everything you touch turns to gold. It's like there's no avenue that hasn't been conquered by you. It might have took some time. It might have been a pain in the neck. I was curious, was there one where, yeah, you weren't able to get it, but you're going to go back for it? Was there one you were worried you weren't going to be able to overcome, and then you finally tackled it? And where did that work ethic come from? Where do you feel in your soul that's where that unbreakable spirit comes from?
I feel like I just always I just always knew that I could do these things. Um Whatever it was that I was doing, there was something there that was happening organically and so like um it almost felt like destiny or I don't know, a movie. I didn't believe it for a long time. I was like, what's happening? Why are things, just why am I so lucky? Well, it was weird. And so I just started accepting that I was just good at these things. Um and I don't know, I feel like once I realized that it was just always going to be okay and it was always going to work out, um, and that I could wish upon a star and it would happen, like, I just honed in on it. And now I feel like I've got this power that um, really just, it shows all the time. I can say something and it'll happen for me. Um, and I feel like it's comes from being a good person, to those around you and knowing who you are. And yeah, there's just a power within you that can make all things happen in their time. Um, and so, yeah, I don't know. That's where it comes from. I just know that it's meant to be. So, yeah.
Was there ever a venture that you that took a little longer, or was there one that never was conquered?
Music. So I did singing most like my whole life pretty much. And I love singing. I have been talking about going back to like training my voice again because I like stopped like gosh, it's like 10 years ago when I moved away. I moved away from Colorado and yeah, I put that to the side. And I was really sad that I did because that was the one thing that I thought I was gonna go like far with. Um and now I want to train my voice again for myself and like potentially do things with my voice, but I want to get back into my musicality in a whole, as like a whole, because I want to do DJing. I want to produce music and stuff like that. So going back into music, I want to go back to like relearn my voice, get back on my music theory, and then go into DJing, and then I could use my voice potentially for songs and stuff like that. I'm rediscovering that I have a lower voice than when it comes to singing, like that I'm like more trained in. I feel like because I had to learn how to go into my higher register. I was always more of a bass. And so I just want to go back. I want to relearn all of my music theory and just get back into music. And yeah, I'm excited for that.
Now, is it strictly going to be Spanish? Because I know you love to sing Corin. I had to ask if it was going to be Selena or Celia Cruz, which one was the top of the mountain. What type of music did you prefer? Was it more English?
So when it came to music, I really like just like, you know, obviously the pop girlies. And I did have some music like in Spanish that like obviously from my dad that I liked as well. So I would be singing Thalia or what Alejandra Guzman. Alejandra Guzman was actually one of my favorites for a long time. And so I used to sing a lot of her songs. I did drag shows as well with some of their music. Um, but I also liked rock music. My dad, like you said, you brought it up earlier. My dad loved rock music, and so growing up, we had a bunch of that in our house. Um, but but yeah, I definitely liked my Mexican songs and my Latinas and all of that. Selena was, you know, one of my one of my girls, rest in peace. I actually did a Selena drag show too, um, in like 2022, right before, or no, it was 2022, right before doing porn too. So yeah, they've been influences my whole life.
I always ask the most important question last. What's the best piece of advice that readily comes to mind that someone's given you?
Foxy, T.S. Foxy. She's amazing and leads with kindness and is just an amazing person. And she just reminded me to be kind to people and to listen to people, have a moment with a person. And yeah, I think that everybody just needs to just take a full moment with somebody and just be kind and see them, look in their eyes. And yeah, I lead with kindness, and I'm just so happy that I had somebody like her who saw my kindness and reminded me to never forget to treat people the same way that I've been treating them this whole time. And so, yeah, T.S. Foxy really was one of the first people to do that for me in the industry. And I'll always remember that.
staying a sweetheart to the end.
Mhm.
Ladies and gentlemen, I got Miss Zariah, Zariah, that's how you say it properly. Remember it, Zariah Aura. She is up for Trans Premium Social Media Star of the Year, XMA. I'm going to remind you, May 20th is the last day. You can vote every day. Go vote for her. And also, she is up for Trans Female Performer of the Year and Favorite Trans Model with the Pornhub Awards. Mademoiselle, thank you so much for coming on. And last thought, everybody, don't forget to check her out. All her links, ZariahAuroraXXX.com. You can go to her Twitter and Snap. It's at Zariah Aura. Instagram is where I always point you guys. And also TikTok, The Real Zariah Aura. Make sure it's the right person because, you know, we got a lot of scammers. And of course, the OnlyFans, ZariahAura.com. Miss Mademoiselle, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. Your story is truly remarkable.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
And everybody else, be smart, be mindful, go vote, and rock on. Ninja out.
Woo, baby, you listen to John the Ninja. All your ears are about to go on a vacation. John the Ninja's got what you need.